we're going to have a theme for the next 2 days, for the next actually 3 days, with the group. And that theme is going to be persuasion and closing. All right, persuasion and closing. Raise your hand if more persuasion, more closing in your life would make you more money. Let me just get, everyone agree with that? Yep. Okay. By a show of hands one more time, how many of you think that if you were more persuasive in your relationships and in your social life, that would probably increase your happiness and probably make you more money at the same time? Yeah, good. Okay. Raise your hand if you're like, I just want to be fucking persuasive as fuck and get people to do what I want. Yep, that too? Perfect. All right, we'll show you how to do that too. Yeah, I think, and here's the thing. I am not a sales coach. That's not what I do. I don't think anyone would think of me that way. I know the stuff, but I'm not a sales coach. I don't consider myself a sales expert. I didn't spend 15 years on a phone closing people 5 days a week or cold calling. That was never what I did. I never needed to do that. But my position, I think, is very different. I'm very into persuasion. And persuasion is kind of the rising tide that raises all ships when it comes to sales and closing. If you're persuasive, guess what? You can close anyone. Like I have never cold called someone in my entire life. Raise your hand if you've never cold called in your entire life. A couple of you. Yeah, right? Why would we? We know how to market, right? If you know how to market, people call you, right? That's persuasion. Cold calling is harder. Raise your hand if you've cold called before in your life. Okay, how was that? Not fun. Terrible. Miserable. What else? Rejection. A lot of rejection. Yeah. You rejecting them. Yeah. They go hello and you go fuck you and you hang up on them. so they don't reject you. Yeah. Right? It's terrible. How is the conversion rate on cold calling? Why did everyone just go? It was like choreographed. Yeah, it's not good. Right? It's not good. Can it work? Of course, yeah. I had a cigar last week. You would have loved to have been there. I got some with me. Nice. I had a 4.5-hour cigar conversation with Kevin Hutto, who spoke at HSS. Probably the best media buyer I've ever met. Unbelievable smart guy. But he was telling me he started working for a company called Bear Stearns in New York, right? Which is a big investment company, stockbrokers and stuff. He started 5 years, Bear Stearns, from 21 to 26. He did 1,000 dials a day. That was his job. 1,000 dials a day, try to get 100 contacts and try to get 10 appointments. That was his whole thing. All right. And after 5 years, he actually got pretty good at it. He was making about 200 grand a year in royalties after 5 years of doing that. Right? And he would have kept making that had he not left Bear Stearns. Who here would like to do 1,000 dials a day for the next 5 years?
More.
You would like to?
More than that.
You want to? You want to do more than 1,000 dials a day for the next one. So you want a cold call?
No.
Okay, so I'm so confused now.
I think he thinks you're saying $1,000 a day.
Yeah, 1,000 dials. 1,000 dials meaning you're calling. My bad. I'm gonna do my mouth exercises this morning. More articulate. Yeah, dials. Right? Yeah, we don't want to do that. Here's what I know. Because I know how to persuade, I could go into any company or any situation and I could design and architect a way so that I would have high status conversations with prospects that would allow me to close them into whatever we were selling. Does that make sense? Right? That's what persuasion means to me. It's a mix of marketing and sales and psychology, and we put it all together. And that's kind of what we're going to be talking about here. First things first, which I think is probably most important to get out of the way, is what things have you heard about salesmen? Or board paper, by the way. So I really know. This is wax paper. This is great. What have you heard about salesmen growing up? Yeah, just throw them out. Fake. Salespeople are fake.
Pushy.
What is it?
Pushy.
Pushy, yes.
Sleazy.
Sleazy, yeah. Great word, yes.
Aggressive.
They're aggressive. Yeah, I'll put that here.
Like drugs.
They're what?
They like drugs.
They like drugs. Who said that? Yeah? Talking about them or you? Just kidding. He's like both. I don't know. What else? What else have you heard about salespeople? When I say salespeople, what do you think about? Manipulative. And a lot of you have probably done a lot of training on your persuasion and closing and read the books and things like that, so you don't necessarily have the same associations most people do. If I were to ask most people what they think about salespeople, would there be any other words you would add in addition to these? Anything else come up?
Take advantage.
What is it?
Taking advantage.
Yeah, it's manipulative, take advantage. Manipulative, you know what that means? Who can tell me what manipulation, the actual definition of it is? Yes.
To handle skillfully.
Yes. It's the skillful handling of someone or some object. Right, so for instance, I am manipulating this marker right now. But notice the marker, I'm not like hurting it, I don't feel guilty about it, marker's okay with it, everyone's happy, right? So manipulation is, by dictionary definition, not a bad thing, but by societal conditioning, bad thing. What else? If I were to ask your mom, when I say salespeople, what do you think about? What would she say?
Needy.
They're needy.
I guess
Like pushy, needy?
same as pushy or
I like needy. That's cool. What else? Your mom. What would your mom say about salespeople? They're annoying. Yes. Big one. Yeah, they're super annoying. Yeah.
It was the same one.
Annoying for you too.
Yeah.
Yeah. One for me that I heard growing up was greedy. You guys ever hear that? They're greedy. They're only in it for themselves. Right? Do you think manipulation, do you think another one that goes with that might be lying? Like they'll lie. They're liars. They'll say what they need to get the sale because they're incentivized in order to do so, yeah? Yeah, all right, so here's the thing, and here's what we know about human beings. If we believe unconsciously that good salespeople are seen by others, meaning the whole group, the majority thinks of salespeople as annoying, fake, pushy, sleazy, greedy, needy, manipulative, lying, drug-taking liars, what are the odds we're gonna do what we can to try and be like that, to try and be a salesperson? We're gonna avoid it at all costs, aren't we? Right, we're gonna avoid it at all costs. So when you go to sell, will you bring your best weaponry with you? Yes or no?
Yes.
No, you won't. You will hold back on it because you don't want to be seen as a salesperson. Does that make sense? Right, like if I don't want to be seen as needy or manipulative or annoying or any of those things, and that's the unconscious program that's running, and I believe salesperson equals those things, I will not be a salesperson. I will likely try to sell someone and they might not be a little interested, and what will I do? Oh, no problem, don't worry about it. Right? I'll pull back. I won't be aggressive. I won't do what I need to do. There will be an internal conflict. Part of me wants to make money, the other part doesn't want to be seen as any of these things. And so you have this internal, it's like the universe being ripped apart, and you won't be able to do what you need to do. You won't be congruent in your action. And there's one thing that good salespeople are, it's that they're congruent, right? It's almost as if, imagine if, let's see how this works. So you're gonna gently lay these down all weekend. Good, okay. Think about this. What is a value?
What's important to someone?
Yes, it's a priority, right? That's all it is. Values are just priorities. Now let's say, who here feels like being successful, that's a priority for you? Good, okay. So we got being successful. Now, who else here, whether you wanted to admit it or not right now, would say that not getting rejected is also a priority for you? Raise your hand. You don't want to get rejected. Yes. How successful are you going to be if part of your game plan is to avoid rejection?
Nowhere near as much as it could be.
Nowhere near as much as you could be. How much more successful would you be if that wasn't a value at all? A lot more. What would you go for instead? What would you do instead? Wouldn't you just keep going? Yeah, you'd close a lot more if we got rid of that value there. Why is rejection even bad? On a primal level, your brain thinks you're dying. That's what's happening. Your brain is convinced that you are literally dying because you get rejected. There's like, we grew up in these packs, about 150 people, and you're in the pack and you're happy. Your brain feels safe here because there's That is a saber-toothed tiger. Those are its teeth. Okay. Because there's saber-toothed tigers out there. You're safe in here. Right? Now, 10,000 years ago, 100,000 years ago, if you got rejected from your group, pushed out, what did that equal? Yes. Death. That totally equaled death. So you don't want to get out there. Now, do we still live in packs of 150 people today? Yes or no? No, not at all. Right? Not only do we have our communities, we have our social media communities. Our brains don't know what the fuck is going on. We feel like we know thousands of people, yet it's like we don't know anybody. Right? We're lost in a crowd starving for connection. Right? But here we are now, still thinking there's a group. Our brain thinks there's a group. And if we get rejected by someone, you know what our brain says? Fuck. I'm gonna die. Now, how high of a value for you is avoiding death?
Pretty up there.
I think it's tops. Yeah. Survival, avoiding death, it's tops. Your brain still thinks this is true, it's not. So what do? How do you overcome that? You keep getting rejected. Here is the fastest way I've found to remove that fear of rejection or trying to avoid rejection. Because what you're really doing, if your value, if you're like, I want to be successful, but I also want to avoid rejection, you are pushing down on the gas pedal while simultaneously lifting the emergency brake on your car. That's exactly what you're doing. How do you let go of the emergency brake so you just get full gas? What do? The fastest way I found is to get rejected. And then your brain goes, oh, I didn't die. That's it. It's to purposely get rejected and let your brain go, oh fuck, I didn't die. This is great. And then your brain remembers that rejection doesn't equal death. I can keep going, I'll be fine. Does that make sense, anyone? Who here, like, can you remember getting rejected and then after you were like, that wasn't that bad? If you really think about it now. Yes, your brain always makes things bigger, always than they are if you're just thinking about it. Instead of you just go do it, like literally, when I was full-time dating coach and I was going out like 5-6 nights a week at the start, I would purposely try and get rejected by girls by like the first 3 or 5 I talked to just to warm myself up to remember that it doesn't matter. Because I walk into the bar at 10 p.m. and I'm like, this is pretty scary, right? And I'm like, let me get rejected real quick. So I found like 3 girls rejected. Like, I talked to them and I'm like, purposely, I'm not like throwing the game, but I'm kind of throwing the game because I want to get rejected. And she like walks away from me, not interested. She thinks I'm an asshole, great, whatever. By 10:20, I'm like, oh fuck, this is great. Because my brain remembers, right? At 10 p.m., my brain has already forgotten rejection isn't equal bad. It's not a bad thing. By 10:20, I'm free again. After a few weeks of doing this, I didn't have to do that anymore. I just trained my brain to be like, oh, rejection's fine, right? It's not bad. Like a lot of people are afraid of public speaking. They think they'll get rejected or disapproval from the audience, right? I had that when I first started. Now I've done it so many times, I know it's not a problem. Like I know I can literally, anytime I want, go, and I can keep going and everything will be fine. Like how ridiculous is that? Speakers aren't supposed to do that. But it reminds my brain every time I do it, no, this is fine. And I've trained myself for that way. Like more and more research keeps showing our brains are more and more plastic than we ever thought possible. Neuroplasticity is an unbelievable body of work. I really recommend everyone study it because it will open your eyes to what's possible for you. Just write that down, neuroplasticity. Read a book on it, do some research on it. There's a really good book if anyone wants to read. I'm going to throw out book recommendations all weekend called Spark. Spark, written by a Harvard scientist, so you know it must be good, called Spark. And it's all about all this research coming out on the brain and dopamine, serotonin, catecholamines like epinephrine and things like that, and how different forms of exercise actually affect them and how they can cure, like they're finding they can cure people with anxiety through exercise. One of their best treatments, first of all, they found that exercise in studies actually cures anxiety better than Zoloft. Exercise better than Zoloft. Second thing, one of the best treatments is, and they like a girl who had a lot of issues with worrying and stuff like that. Anytime she felt that, she had to jump rope for like 10 or 15 minutes. Cured herself in like a month. Right? Because when we exercise, our brain releases this huge rush of all these feel-good chemicals, like dopamine and serotonin and others, and all of a sudden her associations change. She rewired her brain because it's so plastic. Okay, so Spark is a really good book. So we're gonna do a little exercise to start here today, and because it's early and we just got here and it's good that we talk and connect and stuff like that. So what we're gonna do to start, this is the best way I've ever started, we're gonna reject the shit out of each other. You guys down for that, yeah? Yeah? Okay. All right, cool, here's what we're gonna do. I want, everyone stand up please, first of all. And let's start off gently. I want you to just go introduce yourself to at least two people here that you do not know. Introduce yourself, where are you, what's your name, where are you from? That's it. Go do that now real quick. Two people you don't know right now. Go introduce yourself. Hey, here is what I want you to do. If, so you're gonna be selling, you are selling, you are selling, and you are selling, and you're selling Ryan. Okay? Say, would you be interested? Do you want to do this? Would you like to try this? Whatever, however you would ask the other person. And if you're being sold to, I want you to say no. Okay? But I don't want you to just say no. I want you to really say no. I want it to be like, no! Abso-fucking-lutely not. And I'm doing this on purpose because when you talk at someone like that, what do you do to their emotional brain, their emotional system? You shock them, but you get them going. Yeah, it's a little scary. And even though you know that they don't mean it, your brain doesn't really know the difference. I want to train you to feel this and be like, oh, it's okay. All right, you guys ready? All right, let's try it. Reject the shit out of him. Keep rejecting them. Keep rejecting them, yes. All right, pause for a second. Pause for a second. I want everyone, we're gonna do that one more time. I only heard one person actually get rejected, and it was over here. Everyone else, you guys could have been talking about tea and crumpets for all I know. That was way too friendly. I want, you are giving them a gift when you reject them. If you don't give them this gift, they won't get the repetition, and then they won't grow from it, and it will be your fault. Okay? So let's actually reject this person. Okay? No smiling either. First of all, if you're smiling from rejecting someone, why would that be funny? What's funny about rejection? Nothing, right? So why would you be smiling? I'm not saying it's a bad thing, I smile all the time. I'm saying you're smiling because it's uncomfortable. Human beings smile and laugh typically to break tension. So it's uncomfortable. You're like, I gotta reject this guy, he's nice, I don't wanna do that. So you're like, it's not funny. All right, let's train ourselves to bask in the tension and reject someone straight up, okay? All right, let's give it a shot.
Fuck no!
Better. More.
No!
Don't smile. So just say this, just like me, right? No fucking way. Not for you. Okay, so as you were getting rejected or you were rejecting someone, what did you feel about it? What did you notice? What did you think?
There's a lot of tension.
There's a lot of tension. In what way?
I just felt like there was I had a nervous sense either way of, if I was rejecting versus if I was being rejected, I just felt like something was uneasy.
Interesting. Even before it happened, you just had this, interesting. Okay. Are you, would you say that you ever have trouble telling people no in your life?
Yeah.
You think there's a correlation?
Yeah.
Totally. There's totally a correlation. What do you think? Do you think people have a right to tell other people no?
Yes.
They do. So when you tell someone no, what do you think you're doing to them?
Probably making them feel bad.
You're making them feel bad. So when I tell them no, they feel bad. Is that about right?
Yeah.
And if I don't tell them no, then what? They
don't feel bad in the moment.
They don't feel bad in that moment. Is that true? Is it true that if I tell them no, they feel bad?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. Where do you think you picked that idea up from? No idea.
Early on, I don't.
What do you gain by not making someone feel bad?
Maybe feeling good on the inside for myself.
You probably avoid feeling bad on the inside,
Yeah.
right? But if you do tell someone no, what do you lose?
I mean,
Nothing, right?
probably nothing. But
If you don't tell them no and you should have told them no, what do you lose?
I mean, could lose a lot potentially.
Time? Probably lose time. What's more valuable to you, time or money?
Time.
Time, right? By the way, we just went deep really fast just because I like that. But I want you to be able to tell people no when you need to say no and yes when you need to say yes. There was a book, I think it was like, don't say yes when you mean no. There's the whole book. But it's true. And like when they ask Warren Buffett what's the most important thing of successful people, he always says the number one thing successful people do that other people don't is they say no like 99% of the time. You can almost correlate, the more I tell people no, the more successful I'll become. Because that means I'll be focused on what really will move the needle in my life. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Yeah, so it's really important. Thank you for sharing, man. Give them some love. 1, 2, 3. What else did you notice? What else did you experience as you were going through it? You can be open to sharing. I'm not gonna like go deep with you really quick right away necessarily. I just wanted to know, what were you thinking? Because I know you weren't Buddha. Yeah.
Awkward.
You felt awkward.
Yeah.
What part?
As soon as I got told no, it's like, okay. So I guess you could say tension.
There's tension.
Yeah.
Good. So here's the thing. Raise your hand if you also felt any type of tension during that experience. A couple of you. Yeah. Like, all that means is now you have a sign from your body, and it's telling you, hey, let's spend some more time in situations like these over the next couple of weeks so that we can become more calm in these situations. We could do some more stuff to work on tension if you guys want. All right, there's a lot of guys in this room, and we'll be holding hands and staring deeply into each other's eyes, but we can do it. Maybe we will. But it's a really, really important trait. There is no one I know who's incredibly successful who isn't comfortable basking in situations other people would call high tension situations. Call it state control, call it default setting, call it whatever you want. That is a fact. They are incredibly comfortable in situations most people would other call high tension. Okay? What else you notice? I saw another hand. Yeah. Yes.
I felt like I didn't know what to say really when I was being rejected.
When you were being rejected.
Yeah, when I was being rejected, I felt sort of at a loss of words.
Interesting. So, we know this about the brain, right? Well, how many levels are there to the brain, really? There's 3, right? You guys ever heard of raise your hand if you've heard of triune brain theory? Perfect. Okay. So, the 3 levels to the brain. This is the lizard brain. This is the emotional brain. And this is the logical brain, right? This would be the prefrontal cortex. This is your limbic system. This is your paleomammalian brain, right? 3 levels. Lizard brain, what do you think it does? What does it focus on? Survival. It keeps you alive. It digests food. It runs your kidneys and your liver. It takes care of you. It's all about survival, okay? Your emotional brain, what do you think that's about? It feels. It senses things. It feels, right? And then your logical brain, your prefrontal cortex, what do you think that's about? Language and reasoning, right? Language and reasoning and thinking about things. So, Nick, right? Yes. So Nick was talking. Nick gets rejected. And what did he say? What was his exact words? I'm at a loss for what? You got rejected. And what part of his brain do you think kicked into overgear? Emotional and? Lizard. What do we say about the lizard brain and survival? And if I get rejected, it equals what? Death. And this lizard brain is all about what? Survival or avoiding death. So literally, thank you for like sharing that, right? He gets rejected, I'm at a loss for words. Why? Because your lizard brain kicked into high gear, and when that happens, it takes the energy away and your logical brain turns down. You were at a loss for words because the part of your brain that produces words was literally shut off in that moment. Because it was just trying to, all right, I just gotta make sure I don't die right now. How crazy is that? You need to get rejected a lot more. A lot more. It will do incredible things for you. Again, the term is called progressive desensitization. All All right, or in cognitive behavioral therapy, it's what they use over and over, where you just gently expose someone to a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more until it's nothing. So like doing it in a safe space with your friends here is a really good way to start. And then you start doing it maybe with the family member, or then you try and, like, a really good exercise for everyone here and everyone at home as well is go to a grocery store like Whole Foods. Raise your hand if you ever shop at Whole Foods. Yeah, we got a bunch of healthy people in here. We have delicious fruit for you in the back, by the way. Take it as you want. Anyways, you go to Whole Foods. I want you to grab a mango, maybe a bag of mangoes. Then go to the register. Let them tell you the price. Say you 3 mangoes. They go, it's $6.42. I want you to say to them, I'll give you $3.50. And barter with them on the price of mangoes. You realize they could sell it to you for $3.50 if they want. Do grocery stores change the price of their fruit? Is it carved into a stone? No, that shit changes all the time. What's gonna happen when you do this? So confused. Oh, talk about pattern interrupt. Yeah, it's 6:42. I'll give you $3.50. Do you think you're gonna get rejected?
Yeah.
Totally. It's great, especially if there's people behind you. So now you have humiliation thrown in there also. Public rejection, even better. Because what is your brain gonna learn from this experience?
I'm not gonna die.
I'm not gonna die. Like literally, that is what I used to tell myself when I would feel rejection coming up or like this fear. I'd be like, am I gonna die right now? No. Even better, write it down. That rejection thing is going through you. You feel like you're at a loss for words. Find a fucking piece of paper, don't think it in your head, and just write the words, am I going to die right now, ? And then answer it. Yes or no. You will be amazed at how much it calms you down. Who here journals? Raise your hand. Keep your hand raised if you journal every day. Yeah, Donovan. If you don't start, 3 pages a day. Okay, 3 pages a day. If you have a big journal like Sean's, Sean, can you hold it up? So it's a big guy. A page and a half of that is fine, right? The big ones. But if you have like a normal, smaller journal, 3 pages a day. One of the best quotes I ever heard from people like working on this stuff is that the best therapist in the world is 3 pages a day in your journal, by far. You guys ever notice when you journal, you actually figure out the answers that you needed? Ever realize this? Yeah? We can't think that well here. Our brain is not really used to be a, like, let me think about stuff inside my head tool. It's used to creatively solve problems, but it's much better when we can have it in front of us. Like if I have the thoughts in my head and my eyes are here, I can't see my thoughts. So it's hard for me to rearrange them and observe them and manipulate them. But if I take them out from here and I put them in paper, can my eyes see them, yes or no? Yeah, and now I can think about things. Also, fear has no place on paper. Fear has no place on paper. So if I am at a loss for words, my emotional, my lizard brain are running like haywire, I'm emotional, I can't think that clearly, I won't be able to like creatively solve the problem. But if I put it on paper, fear has no place on paper. There's no emotion. I can coldly, objectively look at this, and now I can solve it. Okay? Yeah, good stuff. Okay. So, that was a quick start.